Okay, this is our Somalia um, article of the week. Just keep in mind that we have 2 weeks to do this. However, I don't want you to take the 2 weeks to necessarily do it. I'm just going to read through the instructions here. So read the following 2 articles. Look at the map that follows. So the 2 articles are actually not that long, so I will read them for you and you can take notes. It does say make connections, note questions, comments, thoughts, things you agree or disagree with, and include those notes for the article and the map. So as you're listening to this or as you're reading it, just take notes about different things like you would do with the article of the week. If you have a thought, hurry and pause and write that down. Consider similarities and differences in the challenges faced by the people in these articles. Things you have learned about American and Somalia culture, differences and similarities in challenges faced by women and by people who are different in some way from the norm. And write a page essay about your thoughts, insights, learning, etc. Use evidence from the text to support your points. So I know that anytime it says write a page essay, everyone freaks out and they think, oh no, what am I going to do? I promise if you take it step by step, it'll actually go fairly smoothly and it won't be overwhelming. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to read the article. As I'm reading the article, you can either take notes in like Word or in the Word, or you can take notes on a piece of paper. Whatever, if you do it on the paper, make sure you don't lose that piece of paper. But you're just going to take notes. When you're taking notes, what you're doing is anytime you hear something and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that, or I wonder about this, anything like the article of the week, you're literally going to just pause the computer and write it down, okay? The more notes you take, the quicker and easier it's going to be to write your essay, because we're going to take the notes that you take, or the notes that you write down is what we're going to use to write your essay. So it'll go very smoothly. So article of the week, we're typically using or going every third paragraph. Sometimes you can do every paragraph. So just take as many notes as you can. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article for you. Take as many notes as you can. And I'm going to sound out some of these words since they're from Somalia. So some of it is hard. Just bear with me. Okay, 2 Somalian teens find a sense of belonging on the basketball court. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Faisal Yusafa and Abidikani Abidai are teenagers living in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They were born in Somalia. It is a country in eastern Africa. The 2 teens love playing basketball in Cedar Riverside, their Minneapolis neighborhood. They are not alone. Basketball is booming in Cedar Riverside. The neighborhood also has a large Somalian population. Sports like basketball give teenagers like Yusafa and Abidai a place to express themselves. Playing basketball gives you an identity. It gives you an identity, Yusafa said of the sport. It gives you a name. Cedar Riverside is in downtown Minneapolis. Refugees from Somalia have been moving there for more than 30 years. Refugees are people who leave their home country to find safety. In the 1990s, there was terrible fighting in Somalia. Thousands of families moved to Minneapolis to find safety. The families of Abidikani Abide and Bissell, Yusafa were among them. Abidai is 18 years old. Yusafa is 17. At first, the boys had a hard time. They struggled to learn English. They also had to deal with racism and Islamophobia. The two boys are Muslim, or followers of the major religion Islam. Islamophobia is a fear or hatred of Muslims and Islam. There were a lot of new things Abidai said about moving to America. Okay, the image shows Abidai on the left, and Faisal Yusafa is on the right, and they're taking a break. The two teens just want to play basketball and attend college, and that's what the picture is. Okay, a love of basketball for teens. Coach. One of those new things was basketball. Abidai quickly fell in love with the sport in middle school. At the same time, Jennifer Weber was starting to coach basketball in the neighborhood. Yusafa and Abidai were among her first players. Many in the community did not trust Weber at first. She was a white woman from Wisconsin. She also knew nothing about Somalian culture. The community was also feeling like they were getting bad attention. There had been news about the community recently. Program to counter extremism. At the time, a few Somalian teenagers were leaving Minnesota. They were joining extremist groups. An extremist group often holds strong religious or political ideas that can be dangerous for people who do not hold the same beliefs. In 2011, the government started the Countering Violence Extremists, or CVE, program. They said the program would help teenagers. It would give youth programs money. This would keep the teenagers from joining extremist groups. People in the neighborhood do not think CVE works. They said it just creates fear of Muslims. It also makes people feel like others are spying on them. Coach wins the trust of Somalian community. Weber won trust as an outsider with kindness. She also decided early on to not take money from CVE. She did not want to have to watch her players. Not taking the money made her players trust her. People are worried CVE could grow under President Donald Trump. He may make it focus only on Islamic extremism. They worry that he won't focus on other types of extremism like white supremacists. White supremacists believe white people are better than people of other races. This is hateful and wrong. Abidikarzak Bihi is a community leader in Cedar Riverside. He said basketball is helping the teenagers. A lot of them, because of Coach Weber, have dreams now. Okay, so that is our first article. I hope that you have quite a few comments on there. Because like I said, if you have comments, we can take those comments and we'll use that for our essay. I am going to put in a tiny disclaimer just from Mrs. Walker. This is my personal opinion. I know that the article does say that a lot of people are worried that CVE could grow under President Donald Trump and stuff like that. This was written before he was president, or as he was president, and it didn't grow and it didn't cause problems. So just keep in mind that that is someone's opinion. It's not a fact. Okay, this is our second article. Meet Somalians trailblazing female camel trader. Kismaye, Somalia. Zamzam Yusufa is 55 years old. She lives in Kismaye. Kismayo is a port city in Somalia. Somalia is a country in the Horn of Africa. There were more than 20 years of civil war in Somalia. That destroyed almost all parts of the country's trade. Yusufa saw a business opportunity and took it. Everyone told her not to do it. Yusufa called it her best business decision, though. Yusufa is a camel trader. People in Somalia think camel trading is a man's job. A woman camel trader is rare. There are about 35 million camels in the world. More than 7 million of those are in Somalia. Livestock is a big part of the country's economy. More than half of the people work with livestock. They are mostly men. It is rare to see a woman at any of the busy camel markets in Somalia. Aiming for 1,000 camels. The industry makes good money. An adult camel costs $1,400 or $1,400. The young ones are at least $900. Camel milk is often called white gold. Yusufa can sell 1 liter of camel milk for $1 in Kismayo. Her herd makes at least 400 liters daily. That means she can make at least $400 every day just from selling camel milk. Yusufa started with 30 camels, but now has 145. The herd is still growing. She wants to have more than 1,000 camels. Yusufa wants to grow the business more. She partnered with 2 other traders. She says she had no choice but to take on the 2 men as business partners. Yusufa also visited schools and women's workshops. She tries to convince women to try camel trading. Some listen. Many men are not supportive. It is a different story in other parts of the city. Somalia is very conservative. Many men believe women should stay home. Kahardar Chapalift Hershey is a businessman. He said, looking after camels is hard work. He did not think it is something women can handle. He thought Yusufa should find something else to do. He wants her to leave camel trading to the men. Abdali Muhammad Adin has been working with Yusufa for 2 years. He did not see any problem with her business. Nothing will keep Yusufa from camel trading. She is doing it for her grandchildren. She has 7 children and 29 grandchildren. Okay, that's your second article. Then, this is the map. Okay, so if you look right around here, this is Somalia. Okay, so this is where the people are from that they're talking about. And then if you keep going this way, or going to the left, the United States is that way, but it's quite a ways away. Anyways, so it's called the Horn because it looks like a horn of like a rhinoceros or something. But it's called the Horn of Africa because this whole continent, see if I can zoom out. There we go. This whole thing is Africa. And so Somalia is called the Horn of Africa because it's on the horn. Okay, now that you've taken notes on, let's see if I can zoom it again now. Okay, now that you've taken notes on these articles and you've taken notes on that map, if you wrote them down in hand, I want you to put them on a Word document, type them up on a Word document, save it, and then I will make another video on how to turn those notes into an essay, but just make sure that you have notes on those articles.